Migratory monarchs generation live 4 times longer than normal monarch, and the biggest crazy thing is the migration made by monarch butterflies. A migration cycle contains several generations, but none of them can complete that migration cycle, and they travel same path, same destination every year. This migration is not done by understanding the previous generation, but only through genetic data. The monarch butterfly, or simply monarch, is a milkweed butterfly in the family Nymphalidae. Its wings feature an easily recognizable orange in color, with black or dark-colored margins and veins, having a wingspan of 8.9 to 10.2 centimeters. The margins, or outer edges, of the wings are also dotted with white spots. While in flight, they have a slow, sailing wing, rather than flapping rapidly. The female monarch lays each of her eggs individually on the leaf of a milkweed plant, attaching it with a bit of glue she secretes. A female usually lays between 300 and 500 eggs over a 2 to 5 week period. After a few days, the eggs hatch into larvae, otherwise known as caterpillars. The caterpillar's main job is to grow, so they spend most of their time eating. They only eat milkweed, which is why the female laid her eggs on milkweed leaves in the first place. Milkweed contains toxins known as cardiac glycosides. This compound affects the heart of vertebrates. The caterpillar of the monarch has evolved a tolerance to this poison and therefore can eat the plant, storing the poison for its own defense against vertebrates. They eat their fill for about 2 weeks, and then they spin protective cases around themselves to enter the pupa stage, which is also called chrysalis. About a week or 2 later, they finish their metamorphosis and emerge as fully formed, black and orange, adult monarch butterflies. They do different things depending on when they complete their metamorphosis. If they emerge in the spring or early summer, they'll start reproducing within days. But if they're born in the later summer or fall, they know winter is coming, time to head south for warmer weather. Monarch butterfly migration is one of the most spectacular natural phenomena in the world. The monarch is the only butterfly known to make a 2-way migration as birds do. Using environmental cues, the monarchs know when it is time to travel south for the winter. They navigate by reading the horizontal position of the sun and by using an internal clock. Since monarchs don't carry a wristwatch, they rely on their small antennae to tell them what time of day it is. Factoring both the location of the sun in the sky and the time on their antennae clock, monarchs can point themselves in the right direction. On cloudy days, the monarch's eyes have special cells that can find the sun using polarized light. The monarchs begin their southern migration from September to October. Before this late summer arrives, shorter days and cooler temperatures cue the female monarch to lay a special egg. These caterpillars grow up to be very different from previous generations. The absence of an age-inducing hormone will allow them to live 8 times longer and fly 10 times farther than their parents and great-grandparents. Unlike other monarchs, they wait longer to reproduce and focus on building up fat reserves for their epic migration. When temperature drop increases, they know it's time to abandon their breeding grounds in the northern US and Canada and head south to the mountains of central Mexico. They use a combination of air currents and thermals to travel long distances. Monarchs only travel during the day and need to find a roost at night. They gather close together during the cool autumn evenings. Roost sites are important to the monarch migration. Many of these locations are used year after year. Often pine, fir, and cedar trees are chosen for roosting. These trees have thick canopies that moderate the temperature and humidity at the roost site. At the end of November, the supergeneration reaches the mountains of central Mexico. This location provides a perfect climate to monarchs in winter. The humidity of this area keeps them from drying out and helps conserve their energy. They will stay there till mid-March. At this period they were in hibernation, but it is not a true hibernation. They were still moving, eating, and drinking a little bit. Not too much, because if they get too warm, they won't be able to maintain the same fat reserves to power them back on their northward journey. At the beginning of March, they use reserved energy to turn on the reproduction, and in second or third week of March, they start migrating northward to where it started its journey. Female monarchs lay eggs for the next generation during this time, and soon every butterfly that survived the winter dies. There is no shorter days or cooler temperatures. Because of that, female monarch lay normal eggs. Therefore, the next generations have normal lifespan, which is less than 2 months. The first generation, leaving the mountains of central Mexico, only migrates as far north as Texas and Oklahoma. During the north migration, the monarch flies, mates, lays eggs, and ultimately dies as it passes the migration to the next generation. It's up to their children and grandchildren to continue the journey. By August, third or fourth generations of monarchs will reach their northernmost destination in the United States and Canada, and this migration cycle happens every year, and we can see a fascinating natural phenomena.